I can talk a little bit about the Dragon's Dogma, second gameplay video, because I watched the whole thing. Me and, was it Mark, or was it, who was it watched that with me? Was it you, Bloodaxe, we were talking about Dragon's Dogma?
Talked about it last week.
Yeah, when I watched it, remember I was telling you about the Griffin fight, wasn't I?
I don't remember about the Griffin fight, but no, we talked.
Okay, well, anyway, I watched it.
I played it, and I told you no.
Okay, no, they put out another gameplay trailer. It's an extended fight, and there's some new things that have been revealed about it. There's a new effect, combat effect, the way that works. So we can chat a bit about it. I could give my ups and downs because I'm happy about it, but I'm also a little bit concerned because there are problems. There's problems and there's good things. And weirdly enough, they're the same thing, which is it's Dragon's Dogma. Note that I did not say two. It's Dragon's Dogma. But we'll jump on that when we get into games. But yeah, comic books have been dry, right? Comic books have been real dry lately. We're gonna have to get into Vans and see Vans CC and see if they can tell us if there's anything interesting.
Anything that's interested in me, I guess.
No, I mean I just checked. There wasn't a lot of newsworthy. Like I said, we'll check with our boy Travis and see if he can point us in a direction. But nothing's made the headlines, I guess is the way to say it. I just checked DC and Marvel. I told you they have a Venom verse now, and they're going to do an offshoot Kid Venom, which I don't think that's going to do as well as the other Spider-Verse stuff. I don't think it's going to launch because they've tried to do offshoot Venom stories, and they get a little bit of a head start. You know what I'm saying? They'll get a little bit of attention, but they never really float on their own. Heck, the Venom comic itself has a hard time floating as a solo. So I doubt the Venomverse is going to really have legs. They're always popular when they start, though. You know what I mean, Bloodaxe? They always had that head start where people have a little bit of interest, but staying power is the problem.
Yeah.
Because I know your son likes Venom a lot, doesn't he?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. He's definitely into Venom, and he was watching the new Spider-Verse film. Was it Friday? I think it was Friday. Because it came out on Blu-ray. And he watched it a couple times already.
We had mixed feelings. It was a good movie, but it didn't feel like a complete movie. I think that in their effort to try to make it a 2 or 3-parter, that they did not cut the story off at a good point. We ended that movie with a lot of questions, with me and my boys talking about what are they doing with this? What's going to happen? And we had the reaction you'd have if something stopped in the middle of an episode. And that's kind of the vibe it had. That we were like, okay, that wasn't terrible, but nothing got resolved. And I was like, yeah, they didn't really. They left a lot in the air. It's one thing when you have a well-known trilogy like Lord of the Rings, but even Lord of the Rings managed to give you a complete movie experience. When I watched the first Lord of the Rings, I was looking forward to the next movies, but I didn't feel like I hadn't watched a whole movie. Even Avengers pulled that off. The first one, we knew it was going to be a 2-parter. But at the end of the first one, it was a serious moment. You know what happened at the end of it. I won't spoil it in case there's somebody out there that doesn't love themselves and hasn't seen it. But the ending was definitely a cliffhanger, but there was a good build up. It was a very tense battle.
Sorry,
Avengers' first movie. I was talking about leaving on cliffhangers. We're trying to fill it while you look for more topics.
Yeah. I'm going to give up. Anyway, let's get started.
Just give up.
Welcome to Dicejunkies. I'm Xenodamus. I'm here with
Q.
And on Skype,
we have Bloodaxe.
All right, let's get started.
Hey, that's Mr. Bloodaxe.
It is Mr. Bloodaxe.
You're just Xeno. What? His official tag is Mr. Bloodaxe.
Oh, okay.
Because there's also a Mrs. Bloodaxe.
That's right.
There is Mrs. Bloodaxe. He's asleep right now, too.
Good job. Hey, that's a clean one. YouTube will not catch that. YouTube will not catch it.
You're right.
That's part of our Patreon content right there.
That's a whole new advice from Dicejunkies section.
Right.
We'll educate you.
Fortnite maker Epic Games, worth billions, cuts its staff by 16%.
Oh, no.
The cut amounts to more than 800 employees.
See, that ruins it for me. Because, fuck Epic. Oh, is that too soon?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, too soon.
I mean,
God dang it! Well, we
you
both
try not to do within the first 5-10 minutes.
What time is it? Where we at?
It's 3:35. We have been
Five?
live.
So 5 minutes.
We've been live for 5.
Boom! Right there on the line.
I said 5 to 10 minutes, but
dang, 10 minutes. That's hard. Oh boy. Well, screw Epic, but
too late now, buddy.
Hey. We might get away with one.
Yeah,
Everybody gets one.
Maybe.
But the key part is that, but in all seriousness, like, I don't like Epic. We know this. But I hate to hear 800 people losing their job because I know that those 800 people aren't the decision makers. They're not the people that are the jerks. I almost cursed again. They're not the people that are making the messed up decisions. They're not the top. Because unfortunately, they always shave off the hardworking people at the bottom first, right? Like, that's who lost. So 800 people who probably aren't the problem lost their jobs.
You don't know that. I mean, dude, there's a lot. Those 800 people could be sitting on their hands. You don't know.
Man, no, 10 Cent owns them. They don't play that. Okay, dude, let's not look.
We're still
may not be a fan of 10 Cent, but we know China don't play on laying up sitting on your hands. They don't
but
play
it's still
that.
headquartered in the U.S., man. Just saying. I mean,
So you're saying they got rid of the lazy ones?
it says 2/3 of the cuts were outside of core development. So
Yeah, and it's core development that's screwing everything up.
What is, like, contractors?
what are they screwing up? I mean,
All the exclusivity.
that
all
has
the-
nothing to do with the developers. That's to do with marketing.
I wonder if that had anything to do with one of our other stories coming up.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Sony's also in bed with 10 Cent. Well, I mean, excuse me.
I mean,
Epic.
my thing is okay. So, these come up all the time, and it's one of those things where I normally just ignore the cuts, but I actually seen several people talk about, the evilness of software development and them cutting employees and, here, and like this company or this Polygon here says, worth billions cuts its staff, basically implying because it's worth billions, it shouldn't cut its staff. And this has been the opinion I've seen quite a bit on this. And I honestly, it's one of the rare times I back Epic on that. I don't think, look, as a company, you want to make money.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't need 810 people or whatever,
36.
You cut 810 people.
36.
I wasn't necessarily quoting the exact number that was listed. I said if, and I threw out a number.
Those 26 people feelings are hurt.
Yeah, well, they'll get over it. This says 830. So the number's rough.
There's 6 people they didn't count. Which
Yeah,
is wrong.
Yeah.
But no, I
Anyway.
get your point. I've seen that, this attitude of, well, the company's worth a lot of money, so just keep paying people. And it's like, no. But we got to watch it because we're skating out a gamer topic. But yeah, the attitude of pay me anyway. Yeah.
Well, my point being is just because a company cuts a number of employees does not mean necessarily that the company is in danger or that the company is doing anything wrong. Cuts happen. They happen in the game industry. They happen in the manufacturing industry. They happen, across.
They happen in healthcare. They happen everywhere. It depends on the reason for the cuts. It could be white collar. It could be blue collar. It could be contractors. But does it give us the reason why these 800 cuts happened?
Well, they do say, Tim Sweeney actually said, for a while now, we've been spending way more money than we earn, investing in the next evolution of Epic and growing Fortnite as a metaverse-inspired ecosystem for creators. I had long been optimistic that we could power through this transition without layoffs, but in retrospect, I see that this was unrealistic. So basically, they've been investing a ton of money into things, and
paying for exclusivity, trying to lure people away from Steam.
Yeah.
So the only good news is, it's not working. That actually I'd love to hear.
Yeah, but they have 830 more salaries they can use to put towards exclusivities.
Well, that's the bad news. The bad news is that they decided to, instead of stopping their questionable tactics, they'll just fire a bunch of people, even though they may have been unnecessary people. They didn't need them. But you could also, now I'm going to like flip and go, or you could stop being jackasses. That's also an option. Stop being jackasses. Stop trying to pay off people to not be on Steam, and maybe you'd have money to pay your people. But we don't know how necessary those are. Well, I don't know, though. That is a lot. 16% of your entire workforce. Now that I think about it, that ain't no 2 or 3, man. That's a pretty large chunk. 16%.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, now, if 16% of your workforce was unnecessary, that in itself implies bad management. How did you get all the way up to 16%?
Well, but that's sort of what we've been seeing, is we've been seeing these companies invest. I mean, let's be honest, dude. A lot of companies sort of invested in certain ideologies instead
and wasted a lot of money.
Yeah, because that became a thing for a while, man. It was a thing. Oh, well, let's get this person and this person to preach.
Oh, they hired a lot of
this,
people. You're right. The hiring practices that were implemented that were not based on competency were probably a problem.
Based on competence, they were based on culture, trying to promote a certain aesthetic. And honestly, I think a lot of these companies you're seeing laying off is because of that.
They padded their numbers, and now they're unpadding their numbers. Well, but the problem, here's the good news. Again, the only good news is that 800 people. I know how petty those very people we're talking about can be sometimes, folks that didn't deserve their job. So we may get to hear some nice epic, gossip. Like the gossip. Yeah, I'm really curious. Because, dude, last time there was a large layoff, they tried to sue the heck out the company. You remember that. So there may be a lawsuit. Because these days, people are so entitled, they'll sue you for firing them.
Yeah.
We've seen that. Well, dude, we've seen that almost every recent
It doesn't normally work. And usually,
it never works.
Usually they get in more trouble than they get because they signed NDAs when they left the company not to spill the beans on things that happened inside the company. And,
yep. Michael O'Brien in chat said it pretty good when he did I dox him? No, he's got his name in there. Is that gotta watch that? But Michael said 60% is definitely a wastage, and that is, man. If you could get rid of 60% of your staff and it doesn't impact your productivity, that you might be right. There was definitely some superfluous hires. We're just throwing people in so we can go, hey, look at us. And if that's the people they fired, that only makes it worse because that shows that you did not value those people either. Because then you turn around and you just shave them off.
I'm throwing out,
No, it's a good theory though. Okay, you know me, I'm all about cockamamie theories. Yeah, so I love it. Here's the key part. Y'all 16%. Give us the juice. What did y'all see at Epic? What did it happen? Let me know. Yeah. CEO speaks Chinese. What's up? Give it to me.
It'd be nice to know which department these people came from. Is it R&D or is it?
They said it's not development. Didn't you say
most of it?
Most of it's not development.
How can I say this and not get us in trouble?
Don't.
Yeah.
Well, you asked. I'm not saying. I'm just saying that's
recently. It could be recently created divisions that are a waste of money.
Well, yes, that's what he's saying. What I was saying. Yeah, I was just saying.
He was saying that hiring to look good on the specs.
Yeah,
maybe please a certain investment company that starts with black and ends with rock.
But
stuff like that.
Yeah. So, anyways. I mean, we'll see. I mean, I mean, this just happened a couple of days ago, so there's plenty of time for, as Q would say it, the juice to be spilled. So
yeah, I'm looking forward to, because there's no way there's not going to be posts, because that's a lot of angry people. Plus, if some of them were from Dev, now they know some good juice. They'll be able to go like, yeah, they're the ones that came up with this dumb idea, or they did this. Because that's the problem is that, we used to be professional. You left the job, man, you went on about your business. My boy Bloodaxe recently had some changes happen, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm talking about. And, he talked to me a little bit about it, but no dirt was spilled. No names were dropped. It's just, this kind of messed up thing happened. So some moving around happened in the job field. because we were raised to be professionals.
Yeah.
But like these young folks, man, will get out of there and be like, man, he cheating on his wife. They just like start telling all your business and going off. So there's going to be discrimination lawsuits. Yeah. There's going to be wrongful termination lawsuits. Somebody's going to say they got touched. All that's going to probably pop up. It's going to be a whole.
Oh no, I'm going to say we grew up in a different bit of environment because like when I leave my job. A job to a new job, and the employer asks you, why you wanting to leave. You always give them like, oh well, it was a good job. I enjoyed this. It was just I needed to grow in a different direction, or I need.
There's some opportunities that opened up,
yeah.
And I need to pursue these. Well, I mean, the best way to put it is that, yeah, I can go back to any one of the jobs I've had in the last 10 years. I can go back to any of those places. Most of these people can't. Some of them can't go back the next day to the job they're at right now. They done said something and they're like, don't you even come back in here. We'll mail you your stuff from your desk. So, but it means we're going to get juice because at least it happened to Epic. Like, it would have been a shame to see people getting terminated from a company I like.
I mean, I'm currently back at a company I left 5 years ago.
Yeah, you were able to go back, boom, boom, boom. Guess what? You never know. Well, same thing with me. The way I kind of circled around is I kind of circled back around and went pop, pop, pop. And it's because, oh, look, I didn't cuss my boss out.
Yeah.
I wanted to cuss my last boss out, but I didn't.
Actually, I didn't think about it until you mentioned it, Zeno, is I went back to one of my first employers in healthcare. I took a 10-year break and circled back around in the same department, which I'm now running, which is pretty interesting because I was professional when I left. I did it the right way.
Yeah. But, hey, for the purpose of this channel, we're looking forward to it, guys. Hit us with the good juice. Some good FU Epic stuff to work with. Can't even use gender terminology. A very popular YouTuber will probably have a video soon. I'm looking forward to their video. I still watch Stephanie Sterling quite a bit because there's been some really good game coverage recently. And I'm sure that they will have an excellent video out soon once the dirt comes out. Because that is 800 jobs. And from the way it sounds, no warning. Like, it sounds like it was just, boom,
I think they said everybody got notified through email.
That's cold, man.
So, yeah.
You don't even have time to look for another job. Wow.
Well, they said the rest of the company. I don't know about the people who got fired. But it did say...
It didn't leak, so I don't think they told him because it leaks, dude. People aren't professional. It would have leaked. You hear about
management reportedly emailed staff Thursday to share the news. So
yeah, so seriously, it leaks. It always leaks if you tell ahead of time. Go ahead, man.
I would say that's wild. You get an email said, your shit canned. Get the hell out of here.
Hey, give them credit for one thing. They did let them start their weekend early. They fired them on Thursday. I do. I've heard a lot of people say they hate getting fired on Fridays. Man, they could have started their week. I've heard that. Okay, I've heard a lot of people complain about, man, you could have fired me Thursday. So they fired them Thursday and said, yo, man, you got a 3-day weekend plus 3-day weekend plus .
I'm curious what the severance is. Are they getting paid for Friday and
none of that info is coming out, man. That's all.
It's Epic. They probably get a free Epic for a year. That's can we give you an Epic membership for a year?
I worked for a certain company and they canned a lot of white collar folks, and my boss told me they were getting like 3 months severance. Well, I got a phone call from someone who was related to someone that got terminated, and they got zero. They got nothing. So I do think that if you do lay off folks or, cut departments or whatever, that you should at least give them some severance so that they give them time to find another place of employment.
Usually that also depends on how long you've been with the company. Like most of them will do, you have to at least been with the company for a year or something like that before they'll give you severance. Some of them have, more than that. Then some... Like one of the companies I've worked for gave severance based off of this is the base for anybody who's been here for more than a year. But then if you were there for more than like 4 or 5 years, they gave an additional for each year after that. So there's a lot of stuff that goes into that, and it's all NDA'd and not really something that people disclose. So.
Well,
It'll
also
come
the
out.
way Michael said, a good comment, despicably and cowardly to fire someone by email. That lets me think the severance wasn't that good because that is just you email somebody a termination.
I mean, the thing is how many of them were remote and stuff like that, though. I mean, and it didn't say they were terminated through email. It said the company was notified by email, which means they could have still individually knocked out the people.
830 people.
Hey, man, that HR had a hell of a day.
You'd have to do that
they probably
like punching tickets.
Afterwards,
you'd have to be sitting there doing it like this, just see pink, 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 pink. Here's your pink slip, get the out. Here's your pink slip, get the out. Here's your pink slip.
They probably have more than one person in that department. Let's be honest. If 16% of your company is 800 people, that means you have, over 4,000 or 5,000 employees. So you probably have at least
a work day is 8 hours. They needed to fire 100 people an hour. I don't think they did that in person.
Yeah, I agree with Flynn. It's they're across multiple locations, and they probably had to do those kind of Skype or Zoom terminations.
Oh, that's a good way. Have a big group meeting. Hey, baby, everybody, glad to see you.
Yeah.
I know you're wondering why it's just you particular 830 people. Well, how would you guys like to work somewhere else? You got a chance. And guess what? You're off Friday. Yay!
Yay.
All right. Let's talk about Sony, man. So there's a big hoopla this week with KOTOR. KOTOR remake has been going on for a while. And apparently the trailers got pulled down from Sony and everybody started throwing out rumors all over the place about it being, they were tired of the woke and so they killed the project or the project's going to a new developer. Of course, none of this is substantiated by any kind of evidence other than we know the videos went down. Now, I will also say Sony came with a response. Now, that response is also not very credible, it seems, but Sony claims it delisted the KOTOR remake trailer due to music license expiring.
As I go to YouTube and listen to like the Imperial March from 20 years ago.
Oddly enough, several people did say that they went back to Sony's site and found many Star Wars games that were still there from 10 years ago. So that did lose some of its credibility, but maybe it's the specific tunes that were on this one that they lost license, but also
how have the license to the game.
Yeah, I know. It's like, but it's questionable. It's questionable.
Any music that's unique to the game, they should have got with the license. So the only music that could have been a problem would be the straight up Star Wars music, except that not even Disney is pursuing everybody that has the friggin' Imperial March out there. So no, I think there's something to that. Because they also didn't turn around and say, hey, but we're doing, or release no date. They just said, no, that's not why we pulled it down. Well, why isn't it back up yet?
So fans noticed, so the tweet from the PlayStation account was deleted. Several of them were made private. Yeah, so it's something, I honestly think something weird is going on with the KOTOR
remake. You just change
remake.
The music? That's all you got to do is change the music. Or remove the music. Why would you have to remove the trailer? And the tweet. Did the tweet have music on it also?
I think the
They're
tweet
scrubbing
linked to that
scrubbing
video.
the internet.
So,
something's up. But don't get me wrong, I don't like Sony anyway. But I do love. I mean, no, dude. To me, KOTOR stands for King of the Old School RPGs, baby. It's one of the best RPGs ever made. I loved KOTOR. Bloodaxe loves it even more than me, which is hard to do, but he actually does. Because I love me some KOTOR. Our boy,
I probably played it more than you.
I know. Flynn played a lot of it and even played the Star Wars Online. So it's a game I wouldn't mind seeing getting a full modern day, get the Unreal or a good engine for it, even though Unreal's got its own issues.
And I will say, whenever they put it onto the Xbox Series platform, it does play significantly better than the discs that are backwards compatible. So the experience was smoother, but I would love to have updated graphics not necessarily the game story, but something smoother, a good polish. I think would make because I would play it again in a heartbeat. Actually, I've been
The
debating
only thing I
playing
would
it until
request
Phantom
is that,
Liberty came out.
oh, sorry, man, go ahead.
Well, I was debating popping back in again until Phantom Liberty got released, and I've been playing that a lot lately. But
My
I mean,
thing
it's
is,
a game I would play absolutely.
oh yeah, me too, man. Though I admit I'm kind of burnt out on turn-based, so the only thing I'd like to see, because one of the reasons I'm hoping for the update is that they'll a little more action RPG the combat. They don't have to go all in, but Final Fantasy has been hybridizing into a less turn-based system, and I'd like to see something a little closer to that, just because like I've been sitting up there. We talked about Baldur's Gate 3 earlier that I keep wanting to grab it, but that turn-based, man, I've been playing too many action RPGs. It's hard to go back to that slower-paced combat. And KOTOR, while it wasn't too bad, it was,
If you have companions, though, you got to have some kind of turn-based element in order to tell them what to do.
They've mastered that a long time ago, though, dude. They've got a bunch of games that do that. Like, heck, Dragon Age was... Even if they just went like Dragon Age Origins, which wasn't full real time, but it was close enough that the combat was pretty smooth. You could set a bunch of commands. If you played Dragon Age Origins, right?
I played all the Dragon Age games, yeah.
So you can set your companions,
which was horrible.
You can set your companions, you know what I'm saying, to do certain things. Even if they do something like Dragon Age Inquisition, which isn't my favorite, but at least it still isn't full turn-based, I'd be okay with that. So I'd like to see a little bit better combat. But if I did play a turn-based, I could sit through KOTOR. It still managed to be fairly fun. And to a certain degree, it wasn't full-on turn-based, at least not KOTOR 2. You could have your companions set to do actions and then just go at it. You know what I mean? And I remember that. So, but I'd love to see it with a slightly updated, like a little more updated combat, and then that game would be a perfect modern release.
Yeah. And here you can see all the other Star Wars stuff.
It's like on PlayStation.
Make it back to 10 years that are still on PlayStation.
7 years, 10 years. Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't really seem weird. They didn't go through and pin and pull all of that. So I think there's more to that story. And it's a good news, bad news again. Just like with Epic, it's like, Epic had a problem, but oh no, people lost their jobs. Now it's like, oh, Sony's having issues maybe, but dang it, KOTOR, but I want KOTOR. So,
you don't want this KOTOR, though. You remember who the writer for the story was, don't you?
Oh, maybe they'll...
Well, now, here's the thing. Who knows anymore? Because, Embracer... Embracer apparently confirmed that Saber Interactive was also working on the game. Then, apparently... Some sources in Bloomberg said that Saber had now completely taken over the project, which is why people are like, who even, who's doing this anymore? No one really knows.
Well, considering they pulled the trailer, you don't even know if it's happening. Because, the release trailer is the stamp that says we're making this. When you pull the release trailer, that means you can't go by the release dates or anything they said anymore. Because they're going to do a new release trailer, and it may be something completely different.
Yeah. So, who knows right now, man?
And I will devil's advocate. I'll do it in your place. In the Sony's defense, they may have also pulled it because Star Wars Materials is doing really bad right now. Because I've heard that Ashoka's not doing too hot. And they may have just said this license isn't hot enough. Because, you got to admit, Disney's sinking Star Wars, man. We don't have to go on a full tangent, but... Disney's not been banging them out. So with that decreased popularity,
Disney, this isn't even Disney though. This is Sony.
It's Star Wars though.
And I'm happy for two reasons. And I don't feel bad at all. Number one, it was a PlayStation exclusive, so I wouldn't be able to play it anyway.
Oh,
but number two, Sam Maggs was the writer for the story, and we know how that was going to go. So I'm glad this project got shelved.
I didn't know it was going exclusive. Oh, then screw them, man. They can set that thing on fire. All right.
All right, well, let's... I
thought it was at least going to come out on PC. Screw them.
It was still coming out on PC.
But Bloodaxe isn't PC, so I get what he's saying. Like, well, you know what? That's why them suckers ain't going to see a Call of Duty. Well, they did sign a contract. That's why they ain't going to see Elder Scrolls 6. I'm getting tired of this exclusive crap. Funny. dude, I'm tired of this exclusivity. Like, I'm not really joking. Like, I'm trying to keep a positive attitude, but the exclusivity is starting to become actually annoying. Not merely a mild inconvenience. It's getting stupid. And it's all Sony's fault. They're the king of this crap. They're the ones that are fighting so hard for this.
That's debatable on whether or not they're the king of this. I mean, if you want to talk about the king of exclusivity, it's Nintendo. Let's be honest.
Yeah, but I don't miss anything coming out on Nintendo.
Well, yeah. But I'm just saying, we can't point the finger at Sony alone for that. Nintendo is the king.
It's working for Sony, though, and they're getting the games we want. Because here's the only thing, though. We know what to defend Nintendo, though. They made every one of those games, though. Those are literally, they're not owned by gaming companies. They are owned by Nintendo. Mario, Link, and Zelda are literally owned by Nintendo, though. So you're saying, yeah, while they're exclusive, at least it's theirs. Sony goes to a company that has a game that's designed for other consoles, and then they kidnap their children, and they make them not put it out on anything else. And it's annoying, because that is different. That's very different. KOTOR is not owned by one particular system. At least it wasn't.
Well, no, there's a lot of excuses for Nintendo. I mean, the other thing that Nintendo has going for it with a lot of its exclusives is a lot of its exclusives are also hardware specific because of some weird mechanic that Nintendo put into their hardware. And so it makes it really hard to put on other systems because they either have dual screen, touch screen,
But I get that. If Capcom made their own console, I couldn't get mad at Capcom for putting their games out on the Capcom console. But Sony goes, hey, Squaresoft, don't put your games out anywhere else. And, and it hasn't been helping Squaresoft. They haven't been doing well. And it's probably because I'm not going to go buy a PlayStation just to play a Squaresoft game. It's not helping.
All right.
Anyway, let's talk about some... Wow, everything's about old games.
Another remake.
Yeah, we're on to another remake.
So they say Max Payne remake is a very big project. Sam Lake, which was actually... whoa, what was that?
That was my kid.
Sam Lake was the creator of Max Payne. Also, he was I think the face model for Max Payne as well.
He was a writer, and they used his face.
But yeah, now they are going to do a remake, and honestly, just like KOTOR, this does scare me a bit because as newer Max Payne stuff came out, Rockstar did Max Payne 3. There was a Max Payne movie. The original the original elements of the game were sort of extracted out of there because you got to understand, you're following a renegade detective who is dragging himself through this murder case of his family by heavy use of drugs and alcohol to the point where it's like this psychedelic,
surreal,
trip,
PTSD,
and
drug abuse, mental trauma, alcohol abuse, violence, going literally insane. Yeah. It's a dark story.
Bullet Time was an effect of him basically ODing on drugs.
Well, you saw Birds of Prey. You do enough drugs, apparently you can slow down time. Or at least you think you are. And with such a dark, serious tone and a white male protagonist, I'm just being realistic from a game perspective. We're not getting political, but we're just being realistic. It seems that this is very likely to be not updated for modern audiences. And that's the fear, is that they're going to go in and go, well, that's bad, and you can't do that. And why is the wife the one's dead? It's just the thing. And it may be a whole thing.
If this is the conceptual phase here that's shown, that actually looks really good, though.
It's going to get pulled down for music.
And I got to say, it's the face is just so much better.
True. Well, the guy aged, man. Sam's going to get some years on him. And
and it does seem like they're keeping the noir sort of feel, the detective style here. So
he's also a cop. Oh, that's not going to go well. Yeah. I don't know, dude. What's the likelihood we get this game without it being rewritten to be less offensive? I don't even know anymore. But whatever. Like we're not trying to be jerks. It's just that's what happens when you remake a game from a different time. The question is, are you going to remake it the way it was and keep the tone and plot in check, or are you going to try to remake it in a modern perspective? Disney's been doing it awfully. Games have been doing it. Will they do that? Because, that's just what we've seen. It's the same thing. Basically, this is just the Kodar conversation what Bloodaxe is worried about. Bloodaxe is talking about who was writing it. We went and looked up what that person worked on. If you go back and check that video out, it's a legitimate concern. This person's writing has not been very good, and their interpretation of materials was bad. We don't know. Now, it's the same company doing this, but we've even seen the same company come back and remake their own stuff and F it up. That's happened. So there's that fear that they're going to put their hands on it and go, what are the kids into? Let's do a quick Google search and put that in the game. And then you end up with Saints Row. And Max Payne done in Saints Row. Y'all think I'm going to be the one cursing? Ooh. I'm going to be sitting over here like this. Boy, well, it ain't that bad. As he's on a rampage.
Now, it is interesting because they are supposedly combining 1 and 2 into one big game as well, which is likely to cause some issues.
Well, sorry, our boy Flynn said he modded Max Payne 1 to turn him into Blade and fought vampires. Well, there you go. Now we'll blame Flynn if they race swap Max. We'll be like, it was your idea. Just Wesley Snipes. They changed him to Wesley Snipes. You know what? That's a good race swap, though. Wesley Snipes is my boy.
I love Max Payne. Now, I played it when it first came out and really enjoyed it. Max Payne 3 was blah. Rockstar had picked up the IP for that.
It was a GTA game, man.
It was closer to a Far Cry than...
Okay. It was a good one, too. I enjoyed Max Payne 3. It had nothing to do with Max Payne. It was a good game because Rockstar does those games well. But honestly, I almost wish Rockstar was doing a reboot, though, just because Rockstar has proven to less care about people's feelings for the most part. So if anybody would bring it back filled with drugs and violence and dark tones,
I don't know, but they didn't really do it with 3, though.
It wasn't there. They didn't care. I really feel like they just threw 3 together. Dude, 3 was Breaking Bad. That's why. 3 was Breaking Bad. It was freaking. The dude looked just like the guy. Pull it up if you want to. He looked like the dude from Breaking Bad. 3 was Breaking Bad. But if they wanted to redo this, like I said, it's not about. It's about having the courage. Bloodaxe, back me up here. Rockstar Games usually doesn't care what people say. They put stuff in their game. Like Grand Theft Auto 4 or 5, whatever the last one was very racy. Not racy like that. You know what I mean? It was very on edge, very edgy.
Edgy, yeah.
Yeah, it was very edgy. And Max Payne needs to be edgy. It needs to be an edgy game, man. Yeah, they did burn a guy alive in a barrel. See, our boy Flynn played 3. He remembers it.
Yeah.
He had a mod where he played his jet. Okay, so Flynn just did not play. But no, look at that, dude. Dude, they went friggin', what's his name from Breaking Bad, dude. They gave it a beard.
This came out before Breaking Bad came out. So.
Oh, my. Breaking Bad stole from Max Payne 3? Because look at that. He's even got the Hawaiian shirt on,
I don't think
it
even looks anything like Breaking Bad other than he's bald, dude.
And a beard.
You
And white. That's all y'all are. I don't...
yeah, nothing close to.
He's got the shirt, the Hawaiian shirt. You don't remember the scene with the Hawaiian shirt? I even think you could get the hat. I think you could get him a hat in game. I promise you can get him the hat in game. I swear I put the hat on him.
You know how that's nothing. Oh, that's racist, man.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So
it's also hilarious. But no, like,
I mean, I thought he looked like me. I mean, you know.
He's missing the tattoos. Also, come on, dude. You don't have that bad a dad bod. Come on. Don't be that hard on yourself.
I would never wear a Hawaiian shirt either, so.
Nah. But no, but I mainly was basing it on the last GTA and their willingness to go dark and edgy and be offensive. Because, yeah, Max Payne's not a great guy. At all, and GTA is notorious for having main characters that aren't great guys. So if you want a troubled, dark protagonist, Rockstar's brave enough to do it. That's all I'm saying. Because they had a character, what's his name? Out of the three main characters, one of them was a drug abusing guy who had PTSD, was crazy, violently had that violent torture scene. Remember everybody talked about the torture scene? So they're willing to do it. Walter White. There you go. See his last name's even White. So, I mean, there you go. You can't clearly. Even they just said Walter White guy. That's his that's part of it. But no, like I believe Rockstar would be willing to go dark enough. That's all I'm saying. At least so far, I haven't heard about them selling out. Look at that. Yeah, and I bet you can get that hat.
No.
You can get that hat. Oh, look at that one on the end especially.
Oh, I know. That's what I think of is Half-Life. But
yes, same guy too. Half-Life, Walter White, and Max Payne 3.
And there's Black Walter White.
There you go. But it's not Wesley Snipes, so it don't work. It's not Wesley Snipes, man. He's got.
But I don't even see Walter White in a Hawaiian shirt. I don't know where you got that from.
You got to catch him and see him. He's hanging around the house.
I see him in his tidy whities.
Yeah, I'm almost sure. You sure there was not a part in Max Payne 3 that you were running around in your underwear? Are you sure?
No,
I can see that being in that game.
I'm pretty sure there isn't.
Well, somebody definitely put the hat on him and did a mod. So there's definitely a modded version where you play as Walter White guy. But my point is that I would feel more comfortable as Rockstar because they have the game engine. Because the problem is, what's the last game they did? Alan Wake 2 that comes out in October 27th. They don't really have a great gameography of being very updated.
No.
So, because we looked it up, there wasn't a very good. They weren't looking too hot, So I was like, can they really make this game, remake it, and not make it feel really old? Like, if you're going to remake it, do a proper remake. You know what I'm saying? So, wait a minute. Is it? I thought they said they were doing it. Why did I say Rockstar over there?
Publisher.
But honestly, I would probably prefer Rockstar do it because I think you get a better combat engine, and I think they'd be willing to be edgier. That's my personal opinion. Now, Alan Wake, when it comes out in October, may prove us wrong. It may be an amazing game that restores our confidence. But Crossfire and Alan Wake Remastered do not make me confident that they're going to see. Now, Control was a pretty good game. But
you're
it's
probably
also
not going to be able to play Alan Wake 2 anyway because it looks like Epic Games is publishing it, which means it'll probably be only on the Epic Store.
It was supposed to be on Xbox, but you're right. It may change. We'll find out. Well, no, it'll be on Xbox Series in a year.
Yeah.
Or longer since they lost 60% of their staff. It may take a little while to get it.
Oh.
Video games aren't looking great right now. These are not looking. Oh, hey, this is you and Bloodaxe at the moment. I got to shut the fuck up.
No, I mean, I was surprised to see. I mean, Cyberpunk's numbers have gone up. Everybody knows the new expansion for Cyberpunk has finally come out. I've restarted, so I have not actually got to the expansion yet. I think Bloodaxe started from an older save, so he jumped right into the expansion. Now, I don't know how much of this stuff was changed with 2.0 and how much of it was changed over the year or two that I haven't played the game. Because it's been a long time since I played the game. I mean, it was 3 years for it to come out with the DLC.
I checked in. It wasn't that different. I checked in. Remember, I told you about it. I checked in and didn't feel it would change enough.
Yeah, but you haven't really gotten far enough to notice those changes. So they did some weird changes, I will say, just random stuff. I got to one of the fist fights where you go around and you fight, and there's one guy that has a sniper rifle that you can basically up the bid to get his sniper rifle in it. For some reason, they removed his beard. I don't know why. They just...
The beard was offensive.
Yeah. I Googled it to try to figure out if anybody knew why. There was plenty of people going, why'd they remove the beard? I don't know. The only guess was because his beard was somewhat of a big beard V-shape, and he was darker skinned, that it made him look...
I was kidding.
And, so who knows? I don't know, but
wow, what an interesting thing. So I tried to Cyberpunk. What's our problem? Remove the guy's beard because racism.
So yeah,
like, really?
yeah. Like so, this is him here, Buck Arnold.
But where is it? Where is it? Oh my God, he looks terrible.
And
clean
this was him before.
That looks way better.
That
looks infinitely better with the beard.
It does, dude. It threw me because I saw him and I was just like, why
does he look weird?
Why does he look weird? He looks weird. I didn't know what. I couldn't put my finger on what was different about him, but I was like, this is a weird character for them to change. And so yeah, I ended up having to Google it, and then I saw the original picture. I was like, yeah, that was him. And I was like, that makes no sense. I
they give him like double chins too. They did that.
I know.
He is not good without the beard.
That's been the biggest comment. They were like, he does not have the chin not to have that beard.
I know.
Oh.
But anyway, like you and Bloodaxe, what do y'all think so far?
Anyway, yeah. So from the aspect of starting over, it's new enough where I am being kept interested just in the in speccing a character. Like I honestly, with the new trees and stuff like that, I feel a lot more involved. I don't feel like I felt like there were certain things that I was just like, oh, obviously this, as I was building my character the first time. Now I really am going at that tree and going, man, I really need to get this stat up so I can get access to this because that would be cool. But then I'll look at something else and I was like, oh, but I need more cyberware. I need to go up this tree. And it is and they put more limits in how cyberware works. I will say I actually do like the new cyber system and the upgrades. It's been fleshed out
now because it was almost a little minor side thing.
It's definitely, honestly, the cyberware is where all your min-maxing is going to be coming from. The way you upgrade things and you can choose different stats, on the cyberware when you upgrade them, and then
you can upgrade your upgrades.
Yeah.
Well, Netrunners probably had a lot to do with that because they kind of, you noticed in Netrunners and in general, Cyberpunk's tone really did get switched to being way more about the cyberware. Like Netrunners was basically almost all about cybering out and getting too cybered. And I'm not surprised the game has re-emphasized that because honestly, it's the only real unique thing Cyberpunk has to offer. Like, if you look at other action games, what's special about Cyberpunk? It's Cyberpunk. It's about cybering up and hacking. So you would assume that they would focus on that. So I think that's a good change. Like, you've got me more excited to play, telling me that the cyberware system is more in-depth. That's got me excited.
Well, like, here you can see, obviously they took images from Netrunner. Yeah. Because that's the girl. Yeah. So yeah, no, they definitely took from Netrunner on this. As a matter of fact, one of the let me see here. One of the trees is actually there is a Netrunner perk, which is what gives you like where you can go way beyond on your cyberware.
You're special, man.
Yeah.
Maybe you should consider going full conversion.
Then you have the skill tree, which I thought was a really nice add as well, because it actually it benefits you to do different things through the game.
Yeah.
So there's the perk tree, then there's skill sets.
Here.
That's not a Edge Runner, yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh. And it's our boy. Hey.
Yeah.
Dude, that was a good series. Sad as hell, but good. Every time I think about a series, I'm so like, man, that was good. Then I think about how it ended and I go, and depressing. But
it ended in the most cyberpunk way possible.
Boy, did it. It ended like most cyberpunk games end.
But yeah, and that's the thing. The game skill tree has come complex enough for people for them to put a build planner out so you could actually plan out your build.
Okay.
And of course they upgraded the level to 60.
Let's see how well they integrated that into the gameplay, though, for unique dialogue and quest options. Because they had quite a few. They had a decent amount the first time, but I always felt they could have a bit more. And if they added some more, that'd be great. Because I love those special interactions.
I will say, I did play around with my stats for a bit, where I did some modding and ran through, and so many of the conversations were tied to stats early on. It's one of those where it really should have a new game plus, because there's a lot of things early on that having higher stats unlocks that you're most likely going to miss.
Well, they're trying to do replay values so that you'll try out different max builds where you go like, I'm going all in on body, I'm going all in on reflex. And that's cool to do. Because, like, you know me, I enjoy a game that lets me do an intelligence playthrough and makes that work. And I will probably go back in, because I think my character is still at the early part of the game, and he's an intelligence technical. And it'll be, well, dang it, now that you said there's a lot at the beginning, it makes me, do I have to start over? I'm still pretty early in the game, but I don't want to miss a single option, man. I won't lie, dude. Because I eat that stuff up.
No, I'll say that the as long as you didn't do a lot of the side quests before you went and did the main quest to start the game, then you didn't really miss a lot. If you did a lot of the side quests before, you may want to start over.
You also said it changed the way of play. It changed the way it plays enough. I think I'm going to do a restart. Because the thing is, I'm also really early in the game.
And you can skip the tutorial BD now.
Can you skip brain dances?
God, that sucks so bad.
Yeah.
Well, it's the worst of the brain dances.
Yeah.
It is by far the slowest of the brain dances. Because you're not allowed to just go through it.
The tutorial BD, you can go, nah, I'm good. So.
All right, CD, look at you. You can try it. Still ain't Starfield, but no.
Well, no, and I'll be honest. That's one of the. Before I let Bloodaxe jump in on it, this is one of the reasons why I went and played Cyberpunk, because there was so much comparison between Cyberpunk and Starfield, and I can guarantee you, 100%, two very different games, and where each has their pros and cons. Like the diversity of NPCs walking around the city is a lot higher in Cyberpunk. They did a lot better with their models of characters, which Bethesda's never really been good at.
If it's not a named character, they are like weird monkey people just walking around bug-eyed.
And in Cyberpunk, you have this vast, selection of models that are going around the store, around the city.
They're waiting on somebody to fix it with a mod.
Yeah, and I will say I saw some mods which allowed you to use the model pieces from all these NPCs to build your V, because honestly, your V customization is slim. There's not a lot of V customization. So character customization is definitely higher in Starfield. On top of that, as when it comes to the things you can interact with, Starfield, so much more. You can interact with the number of just random events and conversations.
Your skills, your background come into play. There's been plenty of games that go like, you got parents, but like, I was just telling him about a scene he hadn't seen where I went to Killer City and my parents were hanging out and they were complaining about how the animals are being treated. And my mom was telling me about how she had got back into doing like volunteer work. And I'm just like, this little background trait I chose is turning into a freaking storyline. Mm-hmm. But of course, I knew it was pretty good back when they gave me a freaking ship.
Yeah.
It's like, it's a good background. And then, like, I didn't know this, so this is advice for our people out there before we let Bloodaxe tell you, because he's gotten into the DLC.
Yeah.
Get one of the.
Finished. You interrupted me. So.
Oh, I'm better. No.
Go ahead and finish your story.
Go ahead. We're just doing it. What I was going to say is, I was including you in it. We also found out about the being from a certain place traits were huge dialogue, like being a free star.
Yeah.
UNC, dude, that doesn't just come up once. That allows you to skip. Like, that gives you bonuses to convince. It came up in a persuasion. During a persuasion check, I said, hey, man, me and you from the same place. You know, what's up? And he's like, yeah, man. You know, and I was like.
And I mean, Cyberpunk does have that with the 3 starting. You have the street kid, the outskirts, and then the
Corpo.
Nomad,
Nomad, street kid, or
Corpo.
Which do have conversations unique to them. Also, the other thing is stats. So your body, intelligence, cool, technical ability, and reflexes offer unique options depending on how high they are.
Mm-hmm.
Usually hitting right around that 12 mark is when you start getting a lot from a stat, which is really hard to have early on, which is why I'm saying, man, they need a new game plus. Yeah. But also, there's all these cool abilities in that tree that could have had
like Starfield.
Like Starfield, yeah. And it doesn't. So I get where you're going there.
Like each individual skill, man. There's one. Sorry, man. That was fun, though. I had bounty hunters come after me, and I had the trait for, like, I could put advanced parts on my ship. There was a dialogue option that goes, "Do you see the guns on my ship?" And I was just like, "Oh!" Literally, he goes like, "Do you?"
Damien apparently is not a fan of Starfield. He says there are no pros for Starfield. Man, there are a ton of pros for Starfield. We'll have to talk after this if you're not seeing them, man.
Well, no. In Damien's defense, Damien, you got to let the mods come out. Me and you play heavily modded versions of Bethesda games. Give him time, because me and Damien are bad. I'm just as bad as him about I played through Fallout with all kind of crazy mods.
Now, come early next year, when the
when the mods come out, Damien gonna be popping videos out. He talking that trash. He gonna be. Have whole freaking guides going through. I'm playing Mass Effect in Starfield. He's gonna be walking around as Shepard.
No, my thing is the games aren't comparable. They're two different games.
They're very different.
They're very different. Yeah. Now, as far as Cyberpunk goes, I am loving a lot of the new aspects. I did get disappointed by the fact that they seem to have made clothing just worthless. There's and there's not really any stats attached to clothing much anymore. Like the stats on the clothing have pretty much been removed.
I think you said it's all cyberware,
most
right?
of your armor and stuff is coming from your cyberware or your skill tree. Because your skill tree also gives you can get skills that give you armor and regen, stuff like that.
I like that. You know me, I've always liked
not a lot coming from the clothing,
equipment.
Which makes the wardrobe seem really weird because the whole reason why people wanted a wardrobe was because they were trying to put on the best clothing to get the best stats. But there's not a bunch of but there's not a bunch of stats on clothing anymore, so it doesn't really matter. It doesn't seem. And maybe something along comes down the line that eventually gives the clothing some stats again. I don't know. As of right now, there are none.
Do you still remember the best early game outfit was because we had pre-ordered it, it was like a baseball jacket with shorts and dress shoes was one of the best armor outfits at the start of the game.
Yeah.
Because you got these individual pieces and it was I remember walking around.
Towards the end, it was a glittery gold cowboy hat, high-heeled boots, and
those high-heeled boots had a lot of stats, man.
Yeah, I mean, it was bad, dude. You looked really bad.
No, it wasn't a baseball jacket. It was for a while, but no, it was a formal jacket. So I had on a suit top with basketball shorts and then dress shoes or work boots. You looked like a clown trying to get your armor up.
Anyway.
So it's a good thing that they further simplified that, but I understand what he's saying, that an entire system was made null by that.
Mm-hmm.
And they could have just not done that, or at least removed the wardrobe, since apparently you're saying it's not useful anymore.
Yeah. I mean, it's useful in the fact of you can sell or destroy all the equipment, clothes, and they stay in your wardrobe, so you can use them so you can have different wardrobes.
Change you can basically skin your outfits.
But yeah, so anyway, Bloodaxe, you have played Phantom. How are you feeling about it, man?
I'm sorry, Mrs. Bloodaxe just came up and flashed me, so she distracted me for a second. I
was like, oh. Dude,
I've had a lot of fun playing Phantom Liberty. I didn't pay as much attention to the promos and the videos like you guys did. I didn't realize Idris Elba was actually in the game, which was it's pretty cool to have a sidekick running around like him. I will say, not to be a spoiler, but they took this right out of Escape from New York. So it's the story has already been played out, but I am having fun playing it. They do get more into the Netrunner stuff than they did previously, and so I am kind of enjoying that storyline. But there's a lot of little side gigs you can do. There's a whole new stealing cars thing, and you have different things you have to do in order to deliver the vehicle, whether it's no scratches or you have time limits. You got to fight your way through guys. But I've been having fun playing it though. It's cyberpunky. I like the Voodoo Boys. They were a lot of fun. Yeah. But I'm not going to spoil the game, but it's worth $30 to pay for. I'll say that.
I will say there is still a lot of graphical bugs in the game. I've noticed quite a bit.
Oh yeah, I loaded a game and spawned in on the elevator and fell and died. So I had to go to a prior save because of that weird shit. And I kill people; they're floating in the air and all kinds of weird stuff. So it is cyber buggy.
Clipping with cars is a big issue. I've noticed, like when you're fighting, the enemies you're fighting, just clipping right through a car. And
to make it easier to shoot them.
No, it did.
And there was a wreck, and these two cars just collided, and they were fighting. I was like, I don't know if that was intentional for them to actually collide and get into a fist fight, but I was like, that's wild.
Oh no, the people inside the cars now will get violent. If you steal a car from somebody, they may start shooting at you now, which is actually a lot more reasonable in the cyberpunk world, that the people aren't 100% defenseless when you pull them out of their car. They may pull a gun on you.
I know this is wrong, but everybody was where Winds of Beat when the dude stole the guy's horse, and he rides off and he's just chilling, and the dude runs back up, pulls his foot back off the horse.
Now, I mean, looking at the numbers, a lot of people have gotten back into Cyberpunk. I mean, this is the last month. You can see the point where the DLC came out. It trickled up a little bit, but I mean, it's only getting, apparently people are talking about it and getting more people back into it because it's been a consistent rise.
I don't know if I'll buy the DLC, but I'll definitely play through. By the way, just a heads up, Bloodaxe. Yes, there is a new ending. No, it is not a good one.
Yeah.
Not as in a happy ending. So it's not the best ending. The one you're trying to get still the best ending.
Now, it is interesting to see that the 24-hour peak for Starfield for Cyberpunk is about double the 24-hour peak for Starfield. So
let some DLC come out and see what happens.
Yeah.
For Starfield.
I mean, I'm just saying.
Dude, Starfield.
The reason I brought that up is because you were saying that you didn't think anybody had gone back to Cyberpunk. You hadn't seen a lot of videos about it. You hadn't heard a lot of people talk about it.
People aren't really filming a lot.
But I mean, the numbers here.
Hey, dude, I've already said this. As much as I like Starfield, it's a middling game. I'm really impressed by the Cyberpunk pull up. I mean, you see how much it jumped. It jumped significantly.
Yeah,
like it wasn't beating it before that, but it jumped a lot recently. Now, what's sad is poor Diablo 4.
Well, Diablo 4 is not on Steam, so I don't have those numbers.
I thought somewhere we had managed to pull numbers last time. We didn't pull some player numbers from Diablo 4?
I think it's a lot of guessing.
Somebody had made some kind of app or something.
Yeah.
But no, it's got me wanting to play. Like, I'm actually planning to definitely check it out. I don't know if I'm about a DLC yet. I'm going to see if it pulls me in enough to spend more money. Because the thing is, I already bought Cyberpunk. How much is the DLC, Bloodaxe?
$29.99.
Like $30.
Yeah, that's not exactly cheap.
But it's a whole new city.
I've had a lot of fun with it. I think it was probably one of the better DLCs outside of Borderlands.
Size-wise, compared to
it's massive, yeah.
Yeah.
If it's got enough hours, because my thing is I don't want to drop $30 and then I'm done with it.
Well,
in a few days.
I would say play the game.
Yeah.
Actually play the game.
I'm playing too.
And then if you're having fun, you buy the DLC. If you're not, well, then obviously you don't want to buy the DLC.
But as I said, I'm going to try it out and see how I feel after like a week or two of playing. Because if it's good, it'll sell me the DLC because I'm not scared to buy the DLC. I do that all the time for games I like. But we're going to see.
Yeah, we bought the DLC for Back 4 Blood and never played it.
It was like $5, but yeah. That's why that $30 has me going, Now, I might give it one more week. The only reason why is because y'all said it's a little buggy. And CD Projekt Red's good about fixing bugs. Mm-hmm. So I might give them a little time to patch it. No, I don't know. Because you haven't got the DLC and you're running into bugs, you're saying.
Oh yeah. No, I mean, I saw one right off the bat, like the first mission where you're with Wells.
Is his name Wells?
Huh?
The guy's name is Wells?
Yeah.
Oh.
Jack Wells, Jackie Wells.
Oh, Jackie. Yeah, call him Jackie.
But his last name's Wells. Anyways, Jackie, like we're in the hotel and everything, and he's going to hand me stuff. Well, for some reason, his guns are stuck to his hands the whole time. So he's doing stuff. And when he would hand me stuff, the gun would stick to the object he was handing me. Then, like, he went to go stick in his earbud, and his gun got stuck in his ear.
Oh, wow.
Like,
all right,
there were some weird mapping issues with
Thursday or Friday. I'll give it a spin. That's what that says.
Yeah, they're already putting a patch out here soon.
We'll let them get that patch out. That sounds pretty rough.
I will say, Damien in the chat room says, you want to see some numbers, look up Baldur's Gate 3. I have, and the numbers are insane.
People are playing Baldur's Gate 3 like crazy.
Yes. Yeah, the numbers are pretty high there.
They're not insane as
I mean, they're higher than Cyberpunk.
Yeah, well, I mean, they should be.
So
it's a new game. Well, okay, not new, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But no, it's better. The $30 is better than what we pay for Wonderlands. I'll put it that way.
By far, yeah.
But I mean, my reason I don't pull up the numbers for Baldur's Gate is because, well, as much as yes, there are idiots out there that compare Baldur's Gate 3 to Starfield, there's even less a comparison between a turn-based RPG than to Starfield than there is from Cyberpunk to Starfield.
Yeah, comparing
there is absolutely no comparison, in my opinion, to Baldur's Gate 3 and Starfield. It's just dumb.
You might as well compare it to Fortisma or something. Like it's like they're totally very different games. Different genres, different play styles, vastly different play styles. But like at least Cyberpunk and that are both futuristic games, so there's a slightly different.
Yeah, they're both have shooter elements to them,
and a lot of RPG that's based on the skills. And between, like I said, for what I'm seeing, Cyberpunk looks like it's knocking it out the box. So I'll give it a spin. Though, like I said, I'm gonna let them patch it first, just because I don't want to get a bad impression.
Yeah.
Because the problem is that they fixed a lot of these glitches, and now they're back. I want to let them fix it again before.
I mean, the graphical gllishes to me aren't really that big of an issue. It's
stuck his gun in his ear.
Yeah, it was funny.
It wasn't supposed to be at the time. No, that's the problem. If I want funny glitches, I'll go play Starfield. Those are funny.
Yeah.
Some weird things happen in that game. Guys with their heads stuck.
No, there are much more glitches in Cyberpunk than Starfield, man.
Well, you're right. Starfield's actually been running pretty smooth.
Yeah,
for me.
And I mean, there's still the whole explosion of objects when you get too near something sometimes. Like you'll get near a shelf and all of a sudden papers just start flying everywhere, because weird physics and... But
when will Cyberpunk allow me to pilot a star station? That was a fun glitch. Now, that was a glitch where you just got a whole star station you can fly it around. It's definitely, I would say it's worth the play because you don't have to buy anything. You can go try out all these new systems and stuff with it, and that is something that's a massive plus. It's also why the player went up, because not everybody had to buy anything, which is smart. Big update to a game for free, it's going to jump your numbers, especially a popular game. And they changed it in a way that it feels so qualitative that I'm going to start over again, because it seems like there's enough changes that it's worth starting over. So, yeah. I'm going to do a fresh start and cheat my stats.
Well, I think that's going to wrap us up for today, man.
Time for some cheat engine.
Oh, cheat engine.
Oh, cheat engine. Look, dude, I done played enough of the game. I'm going to at least start off level 10.
You've not played anything of the game.
No, hours? I got hours on Cyberpunk.
Yeah, but you have played such a small fraction of the game.
Hours of Cyberpunk.
I will say... Not playing it in its truest form for the first time will devalue the game. And so I don't want you to talk any shit about it if you cheat on the game before actually playing through it.
Or what?
Huh?
going to do?
Just not going to take any value out of your opinion on it. That's all.
I mean, you're going to do something. You're boring. I like what you're going to do. It's like, I'm not going to value your opinion.
I mean, what should I beat you up because you know?
Do we need a good reason to fight?
I don't know.
We've never needed one before.
We'll take some shots later. Let's see.
There you go.
All right, guys.
After I drop the boys off.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to check out Dicejunkies.com where you can find links everywhere we are online. Also, Damian Fleece in the chat room. Check out his channel. He has some good gaming stuff on there. And, it's always good to see him in here. But, yeah, one of the original Dicejunkies crew. So,
I can't wait till we're going to have a mod off, Damien, when Starfield starts getting good mods. We're going to start modding it up. We'll make competing videos.
There you go. Thanks for watching, guys. And as every week,
we hope